CLB.
What up, world? It's your boy Challz Brown back again with another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified on the upcoming episodes. All right, man, your boy Maul has decided he'd rather shake that whole room down than shake Budden's hand. He said, man, listen, I don't respect him. I don't want nothing to do with him. And yeah, I know it's a year later. I know it's been a minute, but I'm still not rocking with your boy. And I know y'all like, what happened? What happened? What happened? We don't know what happened. What'd he do? I thought they was cool. I've been in jail for 3 years. I don't know what's going on. Well, pretty much, while you was locked away, Budden and Maul and Rory done fell out. And Budden was pocketing a little bit of money here, pocketing a little bit of money there. Because he said they was his employees. He paying when he feel like it. And I guess he didn't feel like it. And Maul wasn't happy with that. Rory wasn't happy with that. And we all saw how I played that. I documented it on my channel. A lot of times these guys were like trying to move forward and stick with the program. And then at the end of the day, they had to leave. They had this fake meeting where they had the fake show after the little hiatus where they had a suspension and the whole internet was like, what's going on with the show, the podcast, Joe Budden. And these guys came back. They had one show that looked absolutely awkward and awful, right? It looked horrible, and these guys were trying to patch up something that was gone. I feel like Budden didn't respect them no more, and I feel like he was stealing from them because he could. And I'm using the word stealing because I think he stole. I feel like he knew what it was in the beginning, and he changed it because he's selfish, right? And a lot of people was in my comments, they're employees. They have to do what told. Yeah, they're employees. I don't know if they thought they was employees when all of them sat down and created this thing together, right? And I know you're going to get into the details. Well, it wasn't, this guy wasn't there at one time and, he came in later. So what? At the end of the day, they all became valuable to the show, right? They all became valuable. They all became part of what we see is separated now. And these two guys are making a hell of a run on their own, Rory and Maul, right? Hell of a run. This show is, in a lot of ways, better than that show. In a lot of ways. They get a lot of good guests. They get a lot of good conversation going. And I'm rooting for them guys, right? They haven't fallen off. A lot of people was in my comments talking about, we're going to see what the numbers. Oh, these fake numbers. They buying their own numbers. Those are robots. Well, at the end of the day, them robots still working because they still getting big checks, right? They still getting big digits. They doing a lot right now. And Maul was being on, he was on a podcast, right? I remember the name of the podcast who it was with, but he was not being diplomatic. He was like, listen, they said, would y'all be able to squash it at this point? Would y'all be able to shake hands? And he's like, nah, I ain't shaking hands. Because see, the thing with Maul, he like me, right? He don't take a lot of, like, he'll be your friend to the end. But once that respect factor is gone, especially when you steal, I can't deal with that, right? So this guy, Budden, is a bum. And I think that, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, he throws people away. He pushes them away. He throws them to the side for his own, whatever he got going on in his own head, whatever things he cooks up on his own, self-defense mechanisms to make people leave before he feels they're going to leave him. He tries to make him leave first. It's self-destructive behavior. And I don't think he values anybody, really. If you look at the past 10 years of you watching, but you see he transforms like a chameleon, and when he sheds that skin, somebody on the other side of that got to go, and he starts over, right? This is not new. If you've been paying attention, this is not new. You can go down the list, and if you're a real fan, you can do it yourself. You can name 10, 15 people that he can't rock with no more, right? That he just don't rock with no more. He ain't cool with no more. Charlemagne, Rosenberg. You can just roll Rory, Maul. You can just roll down the list, right? Eminem destroyed Slaughterhouse. He did all kind of destructive behavior. So you can't pretend that you didn't know this. This is this guy's MO. This is what he does for a living. He recreates himself, reinvents his shows. And that's why he ain't rapping no more, because he don't want to. He don't need to. He reinvented himself as a podcaster. He don't need to make another rap record in his life. Why would he face the embarrassment of selling 20,000 units? With all this spotlight, with 1 million followers, he won't sell 20,000 units. He doesn't have to, right? He doesn't have to, because simple fact, he's making money at this. When this dries up, then he'll be a financial advisor or something. Who knows what it'll be? He'll be consulting, whatever. He'll be on ESPN doing the morning wrap-up. I don't know. But end of the day, it's disloyal. And Maul sees it. Maul saw it a long time ago. And a lot of people are expecting him to be politically correct or be diplomatic and be like, well, you know, the past is the past, bygones be gone. Nah, Maul was like, man, he owes me a lot of money. And he said, nah, we ain't teeing up no lawyers to go get the money. It ain't worth the fight. And I feel him, like, money is just money. End of the day, it ain't even about the money. It's the integrity of the person. If I got to go to court and put a whole defense against you and make lawyers go through your paperwork and try to pin you to the wall to give you what you owe me, and you know you owe me that, then I don't need to do that. I'm gonna make the money regardless. I'm gonna let that money eat at you. It's gonna feel like acid. It's gonna feel like acid in your body. Every time you think about what you did and why we ain't talking no more. Like Maul said, it's gonna be awkward if he ever tried to call my phone. It's awkward. He said, man, once you burn me, and he's one of these dudes that seem like big on loyalty, right? That's why he didn't read the contract, because he felt it was going to be loyal. And a lot of people was in my comments, he should have read the contract. He should have read the contract. Well, if this is supposed to be your man from preschool or middle school, whatever the case may be, we grew up together, right? And I understand you're going to say, still read your contract. You're right, you should be. But some people feel like, if I'm shaking your hand, you got my best interest at heart. I wouldn't even be here if I didn't feel like you had my best interest at heart. And if you do betray it, then that means you never had it at heart in the first place. And so me shaking your hand or reading contracts is nothing. You're still going to find a way to burn me. All right? People think a contract is everything. Well, Logan Paul just still said that he didn't get his money from Floyd Mayweather. Right? I think Mayweather on a meal or two, whatever he owes him, they got a contract. Everybody saw the fight. Fight been over. That was a year ago. He said he still ain't get paid. He going to take Floyd Mayweather to court to get the money from Floyd Mayweather that they had a contract for. So contracts ain't everything, bro. Contracts ain't everything. Everybody like, read your contract. Read your contract. Some stuff you got to trust somebody, right? And I feel like if you're not a trustworthy, I did mass shows with a lot of artists, never signed a contract in my life. Very seldom have I returned a contract with a written signature on it. If I'm talking to you and we're in emails and I seen the deposit, I expect you to be there, right? It is what it is. I don't need no contract, right? You get these old school artists, some of them still want the contract, still want the paperwork, da-da-da. Okay, I got you. But end of the day, it's called a deposit. Show up. Do your raps. Go home. It's that simple. So a lot of people over-obsess with these contracts, right? I had a guy who used to do beats, and I used to listen to his beats, and we would pick beats, da-da-da. He's like, oh, I want to start getting more professional with this. I want to start using contracts, right? I'm like, bet, that's whatever, bro. Like, this is whatever. Like, end of the day, you haven't sold one beat. You're just throwing beats out, right? But he wants us to use a contract. Fine. I look at the contract. It's some cut and paste that he found on probably Google, right? Copied it and printed it and wants me to just sign it for a beat that I'm probably not ever going to use anyway. I was like, I'm all set, bro. Like, end of the day, if I got to sign this contract just to use your beat for free, we got a problem anyway, right? This ain't I'm not talking about beat makers online that are leasing beats to 200 or 300 people at a time. No, this was a guy that didn't lease no beats and he wanted to get professional and now he wants contracts. I just moved on. Right? Because I feel like if we doing contracts and say you don't trust me or I don't trust you, one or the other, we don't need these contracts. I'm not big on contracts. I shouldn't even do business with you if I need to be combing through your contract, right? At some point, it's something in that contract that I shouldn't be needing to know anyway because you're trying to do some sneak stuff. So at the end of the day, if it's too big on the contract, we probably ain't gonna be good business partners anyway. It is what it is, right? So I feel like people are like, oh, they should have read the contract. Maybe they should have, but they didn't. They trusted this guy. At the end of the day, it's a friendship. And Budden betrayed that, and he's going to have to deal with that because he lost two good dudes that had his back for whatever. When a dude is not going to ask you nothing for years and let you eat, and only ask you stuff when when you start to put up red flags, they didn't even put up red flags. You put up the red flags. So at the end of the day, you're the reason that this thing fell apart, Budden. And kudos to Maul. I feel like Maul should never, ever fold on this. I don't want to see them in 5 years hugged up, laughing, talking about nothing. Because the simple fact is, yeah, you do forgive. But you don't got to forget, and you don't got to lay down again with a dude that snaked you really bad like this, right? It's really difficult to go back when somebody snakes you like this. So I feel like salute the mall, stand to your gun, shake that room. I ain't saying fight him, but if it come to that and he acting like a jerk, if you ever see him, because you're going to see him somewhere. He's like, we ain't going to see each other. Yes, you will. Mall's like, we ain't going to see each other. We don't run the same circles. You will. That's how life works, bro. You will see this guy somewhere at some time. And at that point, you're going to have to decide what you're going to be. It really ain't worth fighting. It ain't worth it. Right? And I think Joe, he might try to roll up and shake his hand or whatever, and then we'll see what happens at that point, right? End of the day, man, Maul, stick to your guns. I salute you for being a solid dude, right? Rory don't want nothing to do with it. He ain't even speaking on it no more. But Maul is just like, man, he's still in his feelings. And if you ask him about it, yeah, he probably ignore you once or twice, but sooner or later, somebody gonna catch him on the right day like this guy and ask him, get him in the mood, you know, he gonna say his real feelings, and he said it. So I don't have nothing against what he said. I salute him, and good job, man. Just keep doing your thing, keep winning, and hopefully Budden learn from this and get better, but we doubt it. CLBMG.com. Me and Ugly Professor got an album called Force Multipliers. Also, me, Dante, and Fleers got the podcast every Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube. It's called Clash, and we talk about everything. Make sure you check that out. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.